Welcome to Decades of Horror, the classic era.
There's a huge monster gorilla that's constantly growing to outlandish proportions, and it's loose in the streets, and it has no pants on.
Oh my, oh my. This is episode 169, recorded January 21st, 2024.
That's right, naked.
Gruesome magazine.
And it didn't have its pants on. That would have been an added interesting part.
But he didn't have any.
Oh, you're right. He did.
Unless you're talking about Michael Goff. That would be weird.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know what I was thinking of.
Everyone's naked. No one has their clothes on.
All right. My name is Jeff Mohr. On this podcast, we cover the good, the bad, maybe even the ugly horror films released since the beginning of time through 1969. In each episode, we'll discuss the monster, spirit, psychos, and villains that have haunted movie-going audiences since the dawn of film history. With me this week are my incredible co-hosts, Chad Hunt, co-host on Decades of Horror, the all of them, sometimes on Gruesome magazine, producer, director, Wreak Havoc Productions, and a comic book artist and writer, Chad. What up, buddy?
Nothing. My monkey's growing.
Uh-oh.
It's a grower, not a shower, right?
That's what I'm told.
Are you petting your monkey? That's right. I think it's growing and showing. I don't know. Also with us, as you may
I'll
have
send
heard,
pictures later.
is the one and only Doc Rotten.
Get out of my DMs. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you, Doc?
I'm wonderful.
Sadly, we are without Daphne today.
Ooh. Miss you, pal.
I hate it when everybody's gone, but Daphne, we miss you. Totally understand, though. Life. You live it.
Yeah.
All right.
And that was your Zen moment.
Yeah, I'm totally lost. And by the way, folks, I'm on drugs. So,
what's new?
Woof.
I've had me some nasty bronchitis, and the doctor gave me a bag of drugs. So I'm no longer coughing, but who knows what will come out of my mouth.
And there you go, ladies and gentlemen.
A million jokes flew through my head.
So what are we reviewing tonight, Jeff?
Decades of Horror, Gruesome magazine, partnering with Play Now Media on several of their channels. In our case, the classic era is on the classic sci-fi movie channel, the classic horror movie channel, and the Wicked Horror TV channel. And in fact, our next episode is on classic horror movie channel. We'll talk about that later. But it's some cool streaming services. Check them out. You can subscribe for free and get access to lots of movies with ads. Or if you pay for the subscription, you get rid of the ads, and there is added premium content available. So check that stuff out. And we're there. All right. What are we doing here? Spoiler alert. This movie's 63 years old. We're going to pretend like you already saw it and just, throw stuff out all over the place. And on this podcast, we start by giving some basic details about the film we're going to cover. And we give our first impressions and move into a general discussion of whatever trips our triggers, hopefully relating to the film. So our topic this episode is Konga.
Holy cow, I remember that lady.
From 1961, and that was the look on my face as I watched this movie.
Oh, come on now.
Directed by John Lamont, written by Abin Kendall and Herman Cohen. The cast includes Michael Goff, Margot Johns, Jess Conrad, Claire Gordon, Austin Trevor, Jack Watson, and George Pastel. Production company is Alta Vista Productions, Anglo Amalgamated Productions, and Herman Cohen Productions. Was filmed in London. Filming started April 4th, 1960. It was released on the 22nd of March, 1961 in Boston and the 26th of March, 1961 in the UK. The budget is an estimated $500,000. And the synopsis, a rather lengthy one, but all the short ones seem sort of totally inadequate to me. Presumed dead, Dr. Decker comes back from Africa after a year. During that year, he came across a way of growing plants and animals to an enormous size. He brings back a baby chimpanzee to test out his theory. As he has many enemies at home, he decides to use his chimp, Konga, to get rid of them. But Konga grows to gigantic proportions and wreaks havoc all over the city of London. That's that.
That scream, though. Look at that face.
And this is the prerequisite shot of people in the crowd screaming.
She did a good job.
She
Yay
did.
Yay for the extra.
He's pooping.
Oh, my God.
All right. Well, now it's time for first impressions. And since this is Doc's pick, he is going first.
I am going first.
Did you first see Konga?
Oh, I saw this on like Saturday afternoon television sometime during the 70s, and I loved it. Okay. Because as a kid, this has everything you want. It has. I don't know what it is. There's something about the gorilla suited bad guy running around, and of course, in this case, it's supposed to actually be, but it's a man in a suit. But there's a bunch of these movies, right? Oh man, and I kind of love them all. It's kind of like this secret little subgenre that I hold dear and I don't share with anybody except for times like this. It's like my dirty little secret. This one fits right in there. It goes along with Gorgo, right? And okay. This movie's bad. It's really, really bad, but I love every frame of it. Michael Goff is just overacting like crazy. The whole science behind it with the plants is fun, and imaginative, maybe hokey. And then you get these crazy plants. The one that has the little lip hanging, the little one looks like a Pokemon, doesn't he? He looks like a Pokemon.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say the other thing. But for me, it's all about Michael Goff and the ape itself. And little Konga to big Konga, this movie has a very special place in my heart. I haven't really watched it. I think I've watched it once since then, just to revisit it. But I watched it again, of course, for this podcast, and I just had a great time. This is a guilty pleasure. Guilty pleasure. Done. Next.
Moving on. Thanks, Doc. Chad, what about you? Had you seen this before? And what are your impressions?
I've seen bits and pieces of it, and the bits and pieces that I saw, Konga was a normal sized gorilla. So I had no idea he grew into a giant gorilla by the end of it. So that was a little bit of a surprise watching it this time, because I never saw any of those parts before. But boy, did this movie stink. I mean, it just, and I love Michael Goff, and I love gorilla movies just like Doc does. It's that whole, like you said, a subgenre. I think what Bela Lugosi did one.
There's a bunch. There's a bunch.
The Bowery Boys meet the Brooklyn Gorilla, and Murders in the Rue Morgue, and
there's the 3D one where they in the
Ape.
Carnival.
Yeah. And they're all just as cheesy as they come. But this one, it was everywhere. I mean, you have giant plants, mad doctors who I don't know if they were driven mad because they were lost in Africa for a year. and came back, and he's got all these phallic plants that he's growing in his greenhouse there. It's just all over the place, and we get a murderous gorilla grown from a chimpanzee somehow, and somehow chimpanzees
just go with it. Go with it.
Gorilla. And then the last 10 minutes is a giant Konga just wreaking havoc in London, right next to Big Ben, and you have some of the stormtrooperiest forces on the planet trying to kill him. And I was like, ain't those guns a little bit lower? Because every shot you see is going over his head.
Yeah, they got tracers and they're never hitting him.
Yeah, they're not hitting him with any bullets. But it's cheesy, fun. It is fun, a fun movie to watch, and the performances are great. Michael Goff is just icky.
Over the freaking top.
Yeah, he's over the fence, the house, everything, and just an icky dude. He got more saliva on Sandra, I think, than she's ever had with her actual boyfriend.
He was icky.
That was uncomfortably.
Yeah, I had to turn away from that.
That was a little much.
But yeah, it's cheesy. It's fromage cheesy, but it was fun. Yeah, I had fun watching it.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I'm with Chad, and maybe with Doc. As it went forward, I was having fun with it, but the reality of it is bad script, bad acting, bad effects, bad miniatures. I don't know what else to say.
Bad music. Bad music.
Bad music. Absolutely bad music. So you can have fun with it, but the thing that really bothered me was, wow, there's way too much talking in this. This is like exposition central. It's just, they go on and on and on, and it's like you're in Michael Goff's science class, and he's going to explain all the details of the plants and all the details of the animals and all the details of the, I don't know. And then
I hung on every word.
He magically gets the gorilla to do whatever he says by pointing a pen light in his eyes. You are now hypnotized.
That's how you hypnotize things, right? That's all you have to do. That's
I never knew it was that easy.
I think there might have been some witch doctor drug in there too, but they sort of glossed that over a little bit. We got man-eating plants. It's just so cool. It reminded me a little bit of, makes me want to go back and watch Man-Eater from Hydra.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
Which was one of our first episodes. I keep thinking sooner or later. I haven't checked it for a while. I wonder if there's a Blu-ray out there. Anyway, so once we get into, and it takes about a half an hour or so. Once we get into Konga killing people, it gets a little more fun.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it literally, not only were they talking a lot, but there were some scenes where he would go, "Let's go upstairs," and it would take them like 5 minutes to walk to the door silently. No,
right.
Let's go upstairs.
I'm down. We're down. Let's see. I'm trying to think of where they were. They were somewhere, and he's talking with the girl, and he goes, "Okay, let's go back to the lab. Walk.
Yeah,
to the lab. Do something at the lab. Walk back to where they were before." So anyway,
we've got a lot of time to fill. Keep walking.
That's right. This does not, by any stretch of the imagination, need to be a 90-minute movie, and it could have been an equal experience, I think. But anyway, I don't know if Doc remembers some of our GM reviews. That just drives me nuts. The talk.
Came to see a giant gorilla.
Let's do something. All right. Well,
I didn't realize it was that much talking. I was totally into it.
Oh my
God,
that's
me. No, I'm sure there is.
Just every time I turn, that's all it is for like the first 30 minutes. Is exposition, and then he gives a couple of shots, to the monkey. So, at any rate, now it is now time for Taglines. Chad. Yay!
Oh, let me find them here. Okay, here we are.
I found you some extra ones on this one.
Yeah, I can see. Taglines for Konga are as follows: in color and spectamation.
Anybody know what spectamation is?
I don't know. It must be something that averts your eyes from the screen. I don't know.
Avert your eyes from the screen.
something that came out after Hypnovision
Yeah.
and Horror of the Black Museum.
Spectravision. Not since King Kong has the screen exploded with such mighty fury and spectacle.
Okay, and that's the money one. That's the one that's everywhere.
Oh my God, just cashing in. ... and stronger than King Kong.
No, he's not.
Maybe body odor wise, but
I was waiting.
this animal is a killer. Lock all your doors and keep off the streets. Konga is coming.
That's not bad. Yeah.
But not until the last 10 minutes of the movie.
No, he's there for the very
Hey, he's there
beginning.
quite a bit.
He's
but
like a little guy.
not the big one.
Yeah, he's a little guy. But... all right. Terror hits London.
Kind of vague, but okay.
Konga attacks.
Is that it? Just Konga attacks.
That's it.
Konga attacks.
All right. He tampered with nature's laws to change a monkey into a death-dealing gorilla bigger than human eyes had ever seen.
Even change species. That's really awesome.
Where did this tagline come from? It wouldn't even fit on a VHS box.
Oh, I'll show you.
Oh my God.
Thank you so much. And that's been
Oh, it's been my pleasure.
Taglines with Chad.
My pleasure, as usual.
Okay. Well, let's see where some of those taglines come from.
Can't wait.
There's kind of the main poster.
That's the one I remember.
I wish the
Not
gorilla
Sid.
did look like that.
King Kong.
When I was a kid on TV, he did. It just he
That's the way it
wasn't.
looked.
But that's what it looked like when I watched him. Yeah.
Yeah, we
And
really
then-
haven't seen any a better King Kong since then.
And I'll bet if Doc knew about this, he would have ordered it. The Super 8.
Super 8.
I can't tell you that I didn't have that. I had a large number of these.
Yeah, and the exact same tagline on the Super 8.
Mhm.
Okay, now this one, I'm not real sure. I think maybe it's Portuguese, but there's no foreign language anywhere on it.
That's a
The
cool
little
poster.
tiny letters at
Oh
the
my God,
bottom.
the painting is awesome.
Mhm.
It is. It's a great painting.
Look at that. She's got her arm stuck in the plant.
Yeah.
The gorilla looks accurate,
Yeah.
although a little bit more intimidating.
Mhm.
Michael Goff looks like Reed Richards.
Reed Richards, right? He does, doesn't he? Oh my gosh. I didn't think about that, but he does have the wisp like Reed Richards. Doctor Strange, too. Didn't Doctor Strange have those at first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He used to have it in the middle, I think.
Did he? I'm trying to
Oh,
remember.
wow.
Yeah.
It was the thing they
Okay.
did to make him more distinguished.
Yeah.
Well, moving on to the ever-present German poster.
Oh, I love that one, too.
And
I like that one better.
Erba von King Kong is heir to King Kong.
That's creative. I like the crackling lightning coming out of the Konga.
Yeah, I like
lots
that.
of reds. These are nice illustrations, I guess, or
Yeah.
drawing.
The,
and then this one is, I believe, is Dutch. Die Zoon.
Die Zoom van de King Konga.
Yes.
Stop it.
Zoon van King Kong. And that is the son of King Kong. So, regardless, it's in spectamation, whatever.
Spectrum.
What is spectamation? I've never even heard of that.
It's probably short for spectacle or something, something I can think of. Maybe they wanted people to think it was stop motion animation of some kind, but
Really?
I didn't see any
Could have used some of it.
I wanted it to stop, but you know.
No, stop now. Come on. This movie's fantastic.
And then,
Champion this movie.
It's no
not
A.
done yet.
It's no
Okay.
APE, but
But here's
Well-
here's the book cover. Now read those little letters there at the top.
he tampered with nature's laws to change a monkey.
I told you. Not exactly a movie tagline, but close enough.
Oh, I like that book cover though.
I do. I like that cover too. It looks kind of like an Italian movie poster.
Yeah. AIP.
Dean Owen, huh? I guess is this an adaptation of the actual movie or
There's something in the wording there. This novel is based on the Herman Cohen.
oh, there it is. Yeah, right there in front of my face. I see it.
An
Yeah.
American International Picture.
35 whole cents.
Monarch Books, 35 cents. I remember that day.
Dime novels.
And
Um,
I wish I had that.
Mhm.
And lastly, is it Charlton? Comic book.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's not a Steve Ditko.
First
no,
edition.
but it's aping him.
Yeah.
See what I did there? See what I did?
Yep, I saw it.
As big as King Kong.
I guess that's the one that adapted it. Because I remember seeing a cover that had the I guess it is on there. I was thinking that it had the Big Ben on it, but that one does have over the
Yeah.
K.
Yeah.
I don't remember that cover though.
It's a big-bodied ape.
I bet that's a Dick Giordano cover.
Yeah,
You
sure.
think like an early one?
Mm-hmm. He did a lot of work for Charleston. Covers and stuff. I think. Charlton, yeah.
Well, look that up.
He did the Charleston. He knew the.
He did, probably did do the Charleston. I can't do the Charleston.
There is a series of them.
Yeah, it was 2
3,
years.
4, etc.
Mhm.
Yeah. Covered by Dick Giordano. And
Good job. Flick.
I could tell by the face down there in the at the very-
stories and art by Steve Ditko, Joe Gill, Bill Molno, and Vince Alacia.
Yeah, it makes
Steve
sense that
Ditko.
Steve Ditko would do that to the
Mhm.
inside. That's probably why it looks like that. It's probably because
He was trying to.
Giordano was trying to actually
Yeah.
make it look like the inside,
Mhm.
which he was a little bit more conscious of that than others.
Yeah.
Good stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, talk a little bit about the writers and the directors.
Oh, this is going to be fun.
The is it really?
Yes,
the-
not the
the-
not the director. Director's garbage, but
The director is John Lamont. And the only other thing I could find that was interesting to me was he directed a movie also in 1961 called The Frightened City that
Mhm.
starred Herbert Lom, Sean Connery, and Alfred Marks,
good
who
cast.
was the police inspector in Scream and Scream Again that we just did on 70s.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
Nice.
that's about it for that director. Not a lot to say
Yeah.
about him.
Yep.
But the writers first, I don't know if it's Aben or Aben. I could find no pronunciation. Don't know if it's Candle or Candel. But what else did he write, Doc?
Well, let me tell you. Okay, so he did all the he did all the I Was movies. You know, the I Was a Teenage Frankenstein, I Was a Teenage Werewolf, the Blood of Dracula one, which was going to be I Was a Teenage Vampire, and then he did the How to Make a Monster, which kind of wrapped them all
Yeah.
together, right?
Yeah.
In fact, this one was going to be called I Was a Teenage Gorilla. Wouldn't that have been cool?
Wow.
He also wrote Horrors of the Black Museum, The Headless Ghost, and later he would do Craze, which was that Jack Palance
Mhm.
killer movie that we've yet to get a good copy to see, and in 1970, Trog.
Oh man. His magnum opus.
His magnum opus. I think you can see a pattern here
Yeah.
of what he did. But what's hilarious is I don't know. They kind of work on that delicious B level way, right?
Yeah.
He also did Berserk, which starred Joan Crawford, Ty Hardin, and Diana Dors. And I only bring that up because that's the Lost Classic Era episode.
Yeah.
That's the lost one? Oh, no.
Yeah. We recorded it, and I lost it. And none of us wanted to re-record it.
Oh, no. It's just went to the...
It wasn't very good, yeah. So,
That's
anyway.
terrible. And there's a movie called Black Zoo. It says the owner of a small zoo uses animals to kill his enemies, which also has Michael Goff in it.
Yes.
And Eliza Cook Jr. Win. There's a win. And then, of course, Herman Cohen co-wrote it, and he co-wrote all these, but produced them. So,
and don't forget Blood of Dracula, which was supposed to be I Was a Teenage
Vampire. Yep. Mentioned that earlier.
The one with the woman with the eyebrows and the Nosferatu teeth.
Have we done that yet?
No, we have not.
No.
Oh, we need to. It's a winner, much like this one. Much like we've only done.
Can we spread these out a little bit?
Yeah, we can. I didn't.
I'm just thinking.
I didn't realize the connection was so strong until we did this.
Yeah. At some point, I had to get back to actual horror movies. So at some point, so quote unquote, but not yet. Not for a while, because I've had one picked for a long time for my next one. All right, Craze. I want to see that, but something about Jack Palance as a cult leader, and it actually, the description says a nutty antiques dealer starts to sacrifice women to an African idol. A nutty antiques dealer. Okay, I think
sounds good to me.
Step towards the idol.
The nutty idol. So yeah, Alvin Condell. He was intricately connected to Herman Cohen. A lot of these, I Was a Teenage were Herman Cohen.
Yep, absolutely.
Who at one time was I think he was a sales rep for either a studio or one of the theater chains in Michigan. But yeah, he's got his name. You look up Herman Cohen and all the movies we just talked about, he's producer.
Mm-hmm. And co-writer for many of them.
Yeah, yep. So them's the guys.
They were a pair. And then the other author had like other names he would use too, apparently, for whatever.
Oh, yes, he did. Yes, he did. Mm-hmm. And Herman Cohen was asked by James Nicholson to join him, to partner with him for AIP. And Cohen turned him down because he had this other deal with Allied Artists, I think. Wow. And then comes Samuel Z. Arkoff. Anyway,
he might have made a boo-boo with that choice.
It's all interconnected. Oh, I don't know. So next up, let's see, what else have I got here? Michael Goff. I was surprised. I started looking at movies we'd done on DOH that featured Michael Goff, and I was just a bit surprised. Just a bit.
Horror Hospital.
There's Hypnovision. They did a
Horrors of the Black Museum, Dr. Terror's House of Horrors, Horror Hospital, The Boys from Brazil, which was kind of like a cast of hundreds of these Nazis around the world, and Serpent and the Rainbow.
I forgot he was in that.
Wow. He did a little overacting at Horror Hospital too.
Is he like Bill Pullman's mentor or something like that?
I don't know. I guess
it's been a while. Serpent and the Rainbow, Bill Pullman. I'm just drawing blanks all right. Yeah. Michael Goff.
Mm-hmm. But he's been in so many more. Well, he was in Berserk? Did you do? Oh, that's the Lost one.
Yeah, that's
right?
The Lost.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess you didn't do that one.
I mean, seriously, it's lost. I think I was rearranging data on my computer and I lost it. And I apologized. Joseph Perry picked the movie. I said, I'm really sorry I lost this. We need to record it again. And it's sort of like, nah, we don't need to do that again. It was a movie. You looked at everything about it and said, I'd like to see that. And then you saw it and went,
whoops. Oh man. But when we do Trog, he's in Trog.
Yeah.
One of my favorite roles of him, he doesn't even have a line. Chad, you might be able to guess this, but Emmerich Belasco from The Legend of Hell House. At the end of the movie, he's just sitting there.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow, that didn't,
He's Belasco.
Yeah.
that didn't come up, but I think it's because I just searched our database, but it didn't. That episode might be too old to be in the Gruesome. You guys did it early on.
Oh, yeah. I love that movie.
So there's another one. That's 7. So that makes this one the 8th one at least. And notice the out of the movies we got on here, 4 of them have the word horror in the title. Dracula is, and the U.S. edition is The Horrors of Dracula, right?
Yep.
Horrors
So I
of
guess you
like
count that one too, yeah.
Horror Hospital. All right.
Another
Batman connection too.
Another
Yes.
fun one is the skull.
Yeah.
He's in that. Yep.
We will be doing that soon. We've been bringing that up a lot lately.
Oh, we need to find it and do it. That's another one that I'm gonna like, and you guys, well, it's up for grabs.
Oh, I like it. I like it. Although, and which segment did he do in Dr. Terror's House of Horrors?
He didn't he do the one with the hand and the monkey, right?
Yes.
Right. The hand, right, Chad?
Yep.
Is that one you can handle, or that one you like to stay away from? You don't want to touch that one.
I can't remember. I don't think I probably blocked it out of my memory already.
The Disembodied Hand, I think is the name of the segment, something like that. Very close to that. So here he is in all of his academic glory, hugging young Konga, or I should say real size Konga, the chimpanzee.
Yeah. Well, we should say, Chad, he has a Batman connection. It's just not the usual Batman we talk about, right?
The 66 version.
Because he was Alfred.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the first, 3?
First 3.
First
Maybe.
The Tim Burton ones, right?
Was he in the 4th one too?
He was in the one with George Clooney. Yeah, he was in that.
Okay, so he was in 4.
So 4.
All the Burton era. Even though it's only 2 Burtons.
All right. Now, I have these spread out in a weird way, these images, but before we go any farther, I didn't get a picture of this. When they gave the juice to Konga, that effect was just...
Yes. Wasn't it? It was exactly that.
Yeah.
And in the space of like 15 seconds, he grew like, he grew from a little chimpanzee about the size of a 2-year-old to 6 feet tall, right? In like 30 seconds. That was awesome.
That's why, like at the end, she acted like she didn't expect that to happen or something.
Well, she expected to be so big, I think.
Well,
Yeah, that she didn't get the whole exponential thing. Well, he does that by getting extracts, apparently, from these plants, I should say. And man, he had every kind of plant you could think of. And I love those ones in the middle. They had the little pie hole there in the middle.
whatever that was.
He threw the chunks of meat in it. She's carrying the tray of meat, raw meat behind him. He's chunking them in there. And it's kind of hard to see. I think that I need to expand here.
I wish you had the one that looked like a big we'll
Venus
just say
flytrap. Oh,
well, the one on the
Venus
top.
flytrap, yeah.
Well, we do have that one later.
Okay.
The one on the top with the flowers and the long red things sticking out. Just a little.
The little tongue sticking out.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Look like a eggplant.
Yeah, it looked like a big eggplant with a tongue sticking out with white stuff running down the tongue. It was nasty.
Yeah, but it was funny. They were like dancing the tongue.
Yeah, it was.
It was great.
I love the way those little things popped open like little knapsacks.
Yeah.
All right. But we also have
Anticipation.
character arcs. Well, first, here we are giving injections.
Hey, that tickles.
It's just like Reanimator. It's green.
Yeah. It doesn't glow,
plant,
but it's
I guess.
That makes sense. It's more chlorophyll.
It actually does. It actually kind of does.
Is chlorophyllic a word?
It is now. You just invented it if it's not. So, congratulations.
What did I say?
No, you didn't say anything. Chad did.
I said it's chlorophyllic.
Oh, yes, I think it is. I think he uses that word.
Oh, does he?
Oh, dang.
Sounds familiar.
Just 'cause Chad's-
All right. So our lovely blonde is Claire Gordon. And this is kind of her arc.
Bark.
Now, tell me, that shot at the top where they're riding in the truck, that reminded me like the airplane set on Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Oh
It
my
just
God.
looks like they're sitting in
Yeah,
front of
it
a
did.
painted wall, doesn't it?
Yeah, dude.
Yes, yes.
I mean, there ain't no truck there. And then at some point, he decides, I don't want you just to be my assistant. You know, and then he starts to maul her.
Oh, well, he was
really
he was
there.
icky all along. Every time she showed up, he's like
Yeah.
couldn't keep it in his pants. He was like, "Oh my God, dude!"
Well, I couldn't
Stop.
quite
We
bring
never
myself
found
to
out
show
what
you that.
happened to her after that thing.
No,
ate
we
her
don't.
arm, did you?
That I was going to ask about that because last time we see her is down below
Yeah,
when she
with
gets
her-
her arm caught, and then it doesn't even care to come back to her. It just follows Konga off. Do the firemen come and save her, or is she munched? You know,
I don't know.
I don't
did
know.
she lose her arm? Did she die?
Does it have to read the comic maybe to find out?
Oh my gosh, the novel might tell us.
She comes
Well,
back. She's got a
that's an issue,
mechanical
too.
arm.
Mechanical arm.
Uh,
Call her Furiosa.
so yeah, if you can't tell, the bottom picture is in her struggles with what's his name, Dr. Decker. She is flung into the giant Venus flytrap there that clamps shut on her arms.
And
And,
the way he describes it is it
Acid.
dissolves stuff, so her
Oh,
arm
yeah.
is getting devoured.
Well, that's the way the Venus flytrap works, but it's not really acid. But yeah, it dissolves insect bodies. But I loved how those were like, even when there was nothing going on, they were just
Yeah.
because
waving back and forth.
yeah, plants, they need action. So yeah, that's kind of her arc, right? And then,
Well, you also got the way she doesn't want anything to do with her boyfriend.
right.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
we could take a lot. So
That went on and on and on. I was
No,
like, I'm
no.
glad he's dead.
I know. I was like, God, get rid of him quick.
That was so
He-
weird.
he decides Dr. Decker is spending too much time with his
I
with
know,
his
it was-
girlfriend, and then they get in a fight, and next thing we know, Konga rips him off his, I don't know, what do you call those, scooters, motorbike? There's a name
Scooter.
for those. I forget what they're called.
Moped, scooter.
Nah, there's a company name that's real common, but it doesn't matter.
Harley Davidson.
No.
Vespa is what I was trying to think of.
No, the Vespas.
Yeah, and it's just weird. That whole thing is just weird. But he deserves it. I mean, Dr. Decker is like the snidest dick you've ever seen on any movie.
He's awful. He's awful. He's terrible. You don't root for him at all during this.
And that is Jess Conrad, the actor there.
Poor guy.
I didn't find any crossovers there, I guess.
Well, he did something called the Flesh and Blood Show. Pete Walker directed it in the 70s.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
I don't know anything about it, but he was in that.
That 70s.
Yeah, 70s. I guess it's, we'll get that on our listing. He was in an episode of Space 1999, the 70s. So he kind of stayed away from the genre until later on.
So
After this.
he starts off by giving this. Dr. Decker gives, after they all think he's dead, and he shows up after being gone for a year, and he tells everybody, he gives an interview to the newspapers and tells them how I've found the missing link between flat plant and animals. The dean is not really too excited about that. And him and Dr. Decker get into a shouting match, and then here's what happens to the dean.
Yes, that's the best scene. I love that scene. The look on his face when the gorilla comes busting through.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even though the gorilla looks like the typical gorilla suit, and it might even actually be the typical gorilla suit when I read through the notes, but that's a great scene. He comes in and it's perfect. This is a great B movie feature for a drive-in. I don't know. I love it. But the eyeballs look so fake though. This is obviously a guy.
Yeah, it's a guy with his,
and he's got his eyes as wide as he can get them.
That was probably part of the direction. Keep your eyes open so we can see.
I only see the whites of your eyes.
Otherwise,
so the dean, I'm trying to find the dean here, and I'm not seeing him. Austin Trevor. He was in Horrors of the Black Museum. And he was in Quatermass 2, the TV series. In 1955, he was in 3 episodes.
Okay.
I've seen the Quatermass and the Pit TV series. I have not seen the other 2. Anyway, so that's pretty much what happens to almost everybody they run into.
Yeah, but what's interesting though is that his live-in girlfriend or whatever the heck she is, she's okay with everything until he kills the boy. Like, he didn't have to kill him too.
Yeah. I was shocked. I didn't think she would go along with it like that, but she did.
Yeah, I don't think I have a good shot of her other than this one, and her name is Margot Johns. Yep. And I don't know. I didn't see any crossovers with her. But she's the she's the typical long-suffering assistant who's really in love with him, and the doctor doesn't give her the time of day.
No.
Except when he wants her to do something, then he'll make something up. So,
but she's the jealous one that, of course, she deserves to be. That eventually gives Konga the extra kick he needs to grow to 20 stories tall.
She pays for it.
She does. She gets picked up like a doll, literally, and thrown across the room. That was the hilarious. Oh my God, the hair looked just. It was just. It was so silly. Oh my God! But again, it's brilliant in its silliness. That's my opinion.
So this is George Pastel, who plays
Tagore.
Professor Tagore. He's in Curse of the Mummy's Tomb. I think he plays the key. The
scroll guy. He's always the
Arab.
scroll guy.
He plays Hashmi Bey.
And they're all named Bey.
He was also in that movie, The Frightened City, that this director did. But in terms of Hammer, he was in Maniac in 1963 and The Stranglers of Bombay.
And wasn't he in The Mummy too? Didn't he play Mohammed Bey in The Mummy?
Okay.
In 59?
Is he?
Really?
If you're
George Pastel, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
I believe you.
Yeah, he was in The Mummy. He was the one that from the homeland that comes and kind of.
Yeah, he was the scroll guy in that one.
He was the scroll, and then also called Bey.
That makes sense.
Stranglers of Bombay, like you said. Yeah.
How did I miss that? Must not have gone back far enough.
Right over top of it.
I was too impressed with The Stranglers of Bombay. That's like one of my favorite titles. He was also in She. Missed that one.
Nice. But he's great. He's kind of like almost like a day player cameo kind of guy. Mm-hmm. But he threatens, not intentionally, but he threatens Goff's character, all his studies, because he's studying it too, and he might get there sooner. And he's like, nobody's going to get there faster than me.
Well, Michael Goff character offers a partnership. And he's like, no, I'm too far along in my studies to now. He goes, I'm on the verge of actually doing it. And, he was a little bit ahead of Michael Goff, where Michael Goff might have thought he was. And so Kill him, Konga.
It's some of the weirdest conversations I've ever heard. These two scientists.
Really? Okay.
I think maybe I am farther than you think I am. Oh, you think you are farther than me? Well, I know that I am farther than you. But I don't think you realize. It just
My dad's like stronger than your dad.
That sounds like a Batman script from the.
And then the ape Konga. What is Dr. Decker shouts something like the command, and the Konga's arms just come boom right through this bookcase or whatever that is.
Yes. Another great scene. This is when the film really shines, and this is what you saw, Chad. Right when you were young, you saw these, but you never, but you didn't really see them. The only one that doesn't really work is the Vespa scene. That one's kind of a little bland. But these two, this one and the guy that his boss, those work really well. They're right out of those other gorilla movies that we talked about. The same kind of arms through the things and stuff.
So what else have I got here? Well, let's look at just Konga.
There's the big Konga. You guys, okay. So the bottom one is silly because
the bottom one that I could play that without the suit. That's exactly my shape. just backlight you and that's you. But I love the Godzilla. The Konga looking through the top of
that was cool. That was
kind of cool. Oh, then the top shot was the one where I thought was kind of funny. They're trying to show the eyes, but I think that's when she's trying to hypnotize him.
Yes, and he's just like,
and he goes cross-eyed, like
cross-eyed.
Well, that's what it looked like.
It does indeed.
I swear he was.
And then the smile on his face always gets me. He's got that little, almost a grin on his face all the time.
Anyway, those are
so
now he's bigger than the buildings.
Yeah.
Oh, and here's I pulled this up at kind of the last minute. It's not really an image. Well, it is an image, but I didn't format it.
Oh wow!
That was the lab they built to have him crashing around in there, I guess, or something to look bigger when he started to grow.
That's
actually
pretty cool. That's a pretty good set. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it did look like that, but it's still really well done. Probably a good portion of the budget went to build that.
I mean, that's pretty detailed and wow, that's impressive.
Yeah. So what's interesting about the ape is that they first wanted to get ape actor Steve Calvert, who had previously worked with Cohen in Brides of Gorilla, right? And Bela Lugosi Meet the Brooklyn Gorilla.
Yep.
But he had long since retired. He turned to another renowned ape actor, George Barrows, but only hired the Barrows gorilla suit. So the suit is used elsewhere.
Oh, okay.
The actor, but not Barrows. Barrows didn't come. So he hired an actor, Paul Stockman, to do it, who was primarily on being a good fit for the suit. So he was hired because he fit in the suit.
He built like me.
Yep. And Barrows was understandably annoyed when the gorilla suit returned to him from England in horrible shape. Oh no! Oh no!
Don't you love that?
So I wonder. I will have to look up and find out where George Barrows played this ape.
Well,
so.
Is it? You said so. Isn't Steve Calvert like the guy who always did the gorilla suits? And
well, he had retired by the '60s. So, but yeah.
Okay.
George Barrows played the robot monster.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Huh. Isn't that the ape with the
metal head and the
yeah.
Yeah, he was in everything. I mean, I know he's not in this movie, but it's just the name is Panther Girl of the Congo, Bowery Boys Meet the Monsters, Bela Lugosi meets the Brooklyn Gorilla, King of the Congo, Bride of the Gorilla, Mark of the Gorilla, Jungle Jim. Anyway, that was in the 50s. So
Jungle Jim, I remember that.
Yeah, I do too. That was the Tarzan alternative on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
The gorilla was in Abbott Costello TV show.
Oh,
Not that it matters, but a safari safari segment and
well, also
the haunted castle segment. The other one's just the actor.
there's our Konga and Big Ben, and the crowd aghast.
Oh man, when he threw Michael Goff to the ground and those three at the bottom watch,
they just want
the three of them go.
Yeah,
watch
their
his
hands are like. I hear a guy on the offside going, "Okay, he's getting lower. He's getting lower." Yeah. That was great, and that the guy there, the one guy there is the police superintendent. I think he's second from the left. He's Jack Watson. He was in The Blood Beast from Outer Space, Gorgon, and Peeping Tom.
Gorgon or Gorgo?
Gorgon.
The Hammer film, yeah.
And Peeping Tom, all of which we haven't done. That's the second time The Blood Beast from Outer Space has come up too recently. Big Ben, there she is. Looks like a big. The color's a little distorted, but
it is weird. It's weird. It looks like a half.
I guess it would have been sacrilege for him to destroy Big Ben. Huh?
Looks that way. I was waiting for it, but it didn't happen.
It didn't bother the military guys.
Okay, so I did like a couple of shots. There was a couple of shots where he would walk up to a building and it looked like he was obviously like behind the building, and there was, but then he would reach over the building and kind of, and I was like, oh, that's creative, because obviously all they did was mat it out, you know, like from the roof up. But it looked like he was part. It was a really good effect, and he did that like 2 or 3 times as he made his way to Big Ben.
I thought he was going to climb Big Ben.
There wasn't. He was almost the same height.
Yeah. I don't think it would have supported him. And then the last ones I got, you've been talking about that, and there's medium-sized Konga fighting with him in the lab, and there's.
I love how when
mini Michael Goff.
When they showed him holding Michael Goff, he was just standing there like this. You know, he's like, he's not moving, he's not doing anything. He's just like, I wish he'd shut up. This is a tiny little noisy human.
Why did he keep him? Why did he throw him sooner?
Yeah,
he did. He didn't throw him until he started shooting at him. And he's like,
you know those Brits. I mean, his tie is still tied and everything.
Oh, I mean, I was crazy. He shows up at midnight at the guy's house, right? Because he says, I'll be there at midnight. And they're both still dressed, you know, in tuxes.
Yeah.
It's like, man, nobody gets, you know,
when he's pulling the plants out of the old thing, he's getting dirty and he's still got his suit and tie and everything.
I can't believe they trashed the suit, huh?
It was.
What do you do, pee in it?
Oh my God, I hope not. That'd be terrible.
Oh, it looks like it'd be hot. That's for sure.
It does. I bet he sweated in it for sure. But this one did expose how foam rubbery the chest looked. There was a couple of shots. It's like, you're not even trying. It doesn't matter, but you're not.
This is what they sent us.
And still, for me, that's the part of the job.
Let me tell you about the time I used to be a chimpanzee.
Oh, Lordy.
Cue music.
And then when he, for whatever reason, after they kill him, he shrinks back to his chimpanzee.
How did that happen? Why did that happen? I have
no idea. Bullets negate the formula that made him grow. I don't know.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense.
I think it just was like, I think they just thought it would be cool.
Please tell me you have a photo of that chimp at the end. Oh my God, that is
I didn't see one.
Chimp. Fake chimp
laying there on the ground next to Michael.
Yeah, their arms reached out toward each other.
Yeah. And I love the music. That's where they were trying to
make it all sorrowful.
Make it all sympathy for the Konga. He's just stomped half the city.
Yeah, and they cut to the end. Meanwhile, poor what's her name is still stuck in the plant. Still in the plant. Down to her shoulder by now.
Rotted off by then, right?
You forgot about me.
Okay, let's see. I did I did just find a picture.
I don't know. Do you think okay, so I love the name Konga, but would you rather have it be I was a teenage gorilla?
Yeah,
Would you?
I would have loved to seen that rather than this. I'm sure that they would have been, instead of a baby chimp, it would have been a teenager instead. They got transformed. But
Well, they would have had to change the.
Yeah, which
change
would
the
have been
story
fine
quite a
with
bit.
me.
Yeah, could have got rid of all that science and stuff,
Yeah.
right?
All that science. All that science. Damn that science.
Pseudoscience, yeah.
Oh my god.
All the science exposition.
So I have a question. This is totally, it's on topic but off topic. I don't know how I'm doing this, but it is. So this movie is considered a sci-fi movie, right? It's not considered a horror film, but I consider anything that has like a giant monster in it that kills things a horror film.
Yeah, I do too.
Right. I don't understand making a distinction. There's a lot of stuff, I mean, if Friday the 13th is a horror film, then so is Psycho. And I've heard some people argue that Psycho's not a horror film. And I'm going,
It's very much is a horror film.
Yeah,
but
serial killers, dude.
As is the birds, right? So.
But a lot of people don't. I've had many conversations with people who feel like monster movies are not horror movies. Like you like horror, and I'm like, yeah, I love horror. Frankenstein and Creature from the Black Lagoon. Oh, that's not horror. I'm talking about, and I guess it's depending on the age you are. A lot of times, because a lot of the modern people think of
Saw and Pinhead and
Clown and that kind of thing.
Yeah,
but I consider it all horror.
Well, I think it's because we're basically monster kids, right? We grew up as monster kids, even although we're toward the end. You and I are toward the end of that generation. But the monster kids, and these were what were fed to us as the monsters. And but anything with a giant monster was a monster, was a monster movie, and that's was a horror movie.
Yeah.
But that term is,
there's so many subgenres now that people just have their own, and it's like music and everything else. It branches off into different things, and people consider it. But I consider Godzilla a horror movie as much as I do Hellraiser.
What about King Kong, the original King Kong? That was right.
Yeah, I've always called King Kong a horror adventure.
Right.
Movie. It's like a Jaws. Jaws is a horror movie, but it's got adventure in it, and it's got
But a lot of people don't want to call Jaws a horror movie.
Yeah.
But So I don't know. So this one is just strictly sci-fi when you look it up, but I mean it is because all the stuff behind it is sci-fi, but it's not a sci-fi like as because sci-fi isn't just spaceships and stuff, but
right.
But I don't know. So
I know what you mean.
I don't get to.
I love monster movies, and this is a monster movie and a half, man. Good or bad, it's a monster movie.
Right.
I hope you guys enjoyed it.
I did. It was
don't
fun.
get that particular about it. So while you talked, I finally found it. I don't know if it's going to work.
Oh, there you go.
Oh my God.
It's a poor resolution, but that's it.
I've seen Roadkill that looks better than that.
Oh my God. Well, he was he shot and shrunk, so
Well, imagine all the machine
been hung over
that were inside of him that are still inside of him. Technically,
I know, but
shouldn't there have been a bunch of bullets that fell out after he shrunk down or something? I don't know.
Yeah, or he had big bumps because he took a lot. I mean, it took a lot to kill him. It took a lot of bullets. Anyway.
Well, that's Konga, folks.
It sure was.
And unknowingly, we've got more of this series of films to do.
We do.
Because we still got the Frankenstein. I Was a Teenage Frankenstein. We got Blood of Dracula. And
it's possible that our next movie might be sort of
How to Make a Monster.
Yeah. Sort of along that line. Well, okay. So we do have feedback.
My favorites.
We have
Letters.
lots of feedback.
We
So
read your letters.
I went back to sort of Gorgo,
Gorgo.
episode 157, Gorgo. So, Doc, you want to read that?
Oh, absolutely.
Luis Herrera Lepron.
Yes, Jose says, I think I first saw this as a kid. I have vague memories of it on a Saturday afternoon. When I was in high school in the mid 80s, I found one of those craptastic public domain VHS types, and it looked, well, craptastic. I purchased the VCI Blu-ray a few years back, and it is definitely improvement, but still has issue. The Vinegar Syndrome 4K is stupid expensive, so I'll stick with the Blu-ray. It's stupid expensive.
It is.
I like this one. It has a lopsided charm. Oh, that's a great description. Lopsided charm.
Mm-hmm.
And I enjoy the boy's relationship with the baby Gorgo. Of lesser interest are the constantly bickering adults. One thing I saw even in high school was the terrible mat work when they haul him onto the deck of the ship and the lines in the net just disappear into blue spill.
Yeah.
And those rubber prehistoric fish.
Yeah.
I still like to revisit this one though. My dad saw it theatrically in '61 when it came out, and he was one that told me Gorgo's just a baby.
Baby.
Oh, no. Thanks, Jose. And we get a few more here from Jose. So, marching on, this is, we're moving up here. So, episode 161, The Alligator People. And I think that was Chad. You want to take that?
Okay. Jose says, I've always had a soft spot for this one. It sounds lousy, but it isn't bad. Chaney is a blast in this one. He sure was. I do love the shot of Garland sitting on the case of Cobalt 60 at the train station.
No.
Not recommended, Dad.
Yeah, we talked about that. That's just insane.
She just plops her butt right on it and has a
Yeah.
big
Yeah.
radioactive
Great.
symbol on it.
These are great. These are fun movies. Episode 162, This Island Earth.
Ooh.
From Jose again. Who wants that one?
I'll do that one. I'll do that. Jose says about This Island Earth, I really like this one. Despite the kind of alternating wood and scenery chewing performances, it's a 50s classic. I'd seen photos of the mutant in books when I was in grade school in the 70s, but didn't see him until the summer of 1980 on TV. Even then, I wondered how nobody seemed to notice Exeter and Brack's foreheads.
Exactly.
I know.
They're European.
Yes. It's very pulpy, and I love it for that.
Yeah.
I dared to show an interplanetary war, dared to show an interplanetary war in space, and I really respect its ambition and sheer entertainment value.
Yeah.
True that. It does have some firsts. It was ambitious, that's for sure.
Yeah.
The one thing I never understood about it is how the Metaluna mutant became one of the, its screen time is maybe 2-3 minutes.
Right.
And how it became lumped in with Frankenstein and Dracula as a universal monster.
It just so does the mole people get lumped in there too, but it's just so great looking. Come on.
Yeah, it is cool looking, but it doesn't have that iconic.
Well, and remember, that was like based on an alternate design for It Came from Outer Space.
Really?
Yeah. That was one of a design similar to that. You don't remember that?
I don't know what to say about that.
But I don't know. I was
that.
always fascinated by that. How he got lumped in with the rest of the monsters from Universal. But
It's just
one of those things.
cash it in. It works for me.
Yeah.
All righty. So moving on to episode 163, Val Luton's Isle of the Dead. Jose, I think we're back to Chad again.
Okay. A classic Luton horror. This is a character study above all, faith versus non, the old guard versus new, science versus superstition, and folklore. When I was younger, I didn't quite get it, but as I got older, I did, and really enjoy the slow burn tension and the shriek of Mrs. St. Aubin and her lurking in that dark corridor. Wonderful stuff. These films demand repeat viewings and always pays off as more and more subtle riches are noticeable. Very, very true.
Yes, absolutely. I'm wondering if he didn't. There may be another comment we'll have coming up, because I know he comments on the fact that right now, at least, there are no Blu-rays available for The Seventh Victim or I Walked with a Zombie, which is bizarre to me. You can get all these other ones on Blu-ray. But
yeah, I didn't get to be on this episode, but I love this movie, and it actually creeped me out when I saw it for the first time. When they pull away from that from the coffin, and pull back, and that made goosebumps come up.
Yeah, it was creepy.
It is.
And Karloff is one of his best performances.
I thought so too. That was one of his best.
Agreed. I think his best in general are with Luton.
Luton, yeah.
We haven't done it yet, but he's great in Bedlam too.
Yeah.
We did Body Snatcher, where he
I thought he was great in Body Snatcher, but then when I saw this, I was like, wow, this beats it.
All righty, episode 166, Fiend Without a Face, from Robert Baker.
Me. Robert Baker says, I was so glad to see you cover this movie. It's always been one of my favorites, and the brain creature design remind me of an early version of the facehuggers from the Alien movies. I think they were an inspiration. Well, we can say what we want, right? Who knows what they're going to bother us? There was a bunch of movies that people say it was, but we never. I also agree that the pulp feel of the old weird tale stories is all over this movie. How I wish more of those old stories had made it into films.
Yeah, me too, Robert.
One I might suggest at some point in the Weird Tales vein is called Dark Intruder. That one was supposed to have been a pilot for a TV series that never developed, and it was released as a standalone film in the 1960s. It stars Leslie Nielsen as an occult detective. It also captures the magic of the old pulps in a wonderful manner. And if you enjoy Fiend, you would probably like this one as well.
Oh, I have to look that one up.
I haven't either. An occult detective, and it's Leslie Nielsen. Of course, that's before. I was going to say that's before the airplane thing changed his career. Keep the episodes coming, and I'll keep listening. Thank you. Thank you so much, Robert.
Yeah, I see some trailers out there, but I'm not seeing the whole episode, although I still haven't looked real far.
I'd like to see that. That sounds interesting.
Into that. It's 1965. All righty. Where are we at now? We are at... we had another one on Fiend Without a Face from Gregory Crosby.
At last, Fiend Without a Face. I think I suggested this in my very first missive to the crew last year. When I saw this film as a kid, it freaked me out, to use a technical term. And when I finally saw it again as an adult, thanks Criterion, it didn't disappoint. I submit that this is one of the most effective uses of stop motion in the genre. There's something about the surreal nature of the creatures, flying brains with antennae and spines, that is uniquely appropriate to the technique. In most stop motion, it's a fantastical creature that's brought to life, but it's usually a creature rooted in nature or in myth, whereas these mind flayers are truly the stuff of weird nightmares, existing only in the outer reaches of a sci-fi pulp imagination. It's a shame stop motion wasn't used for this sort of thing more often. Just picture a version of the Day of the Triffids that used this effect.
Mind Flayer's a little D&D going in there, right?
Yeah.
Got the reference.
Yep. A great conversation about the top tier 50s horror film. Thank you. Also, Jeff, I believe I told you that The Man Without a Body had a plot that had to be seen to be believed, and now, alas, you are a believer. Just take comfort that this is one film that you won't be buying on Blu-ray, since no one would be insane enough to release such a stupendously dumb movie on a premium format.
Don't
underestimate Jeff's Blu-ray.
Don't underestimate the stupidity of people putting out premium formats either.
Or Jeff buying those
Would I buy? I would never buy that. I watched that movie, and it is the stupidest. It's just one of the stupidest movies. It was when we got into that. What are the two movies we did? The Head, and then what was the other one with the Frozen Dead? Yeah. Which, speaking of, thank you, Gregory. Coming up next, episode 167, The Frozen Dead, from Steve Rogers.
Captain America.
Who's up? Doc, I think.
Doc.
Oh, no. All right. Steve Rogers says, I saw this back in the early 70s, almost certainly on Sammy Terry, a Friday night horror host in Indianapolis. To a 10 or 11-year-old, the wall of arms was wonderfully creepy, and the bury me at the end was absolutely bone-chilling.
I'm with you. Some of us didn't. I thought it was great.
There's something about what we see as a early teen that when the movies just stick with you. It doesn't matter how good or bad they are, just the effect they have on you just sticks with you forever.
Yeah, that was the best part of the movie.
Well,
the only part I liked was
I like that.
Bury me at the end.
The psychic head and the telepathic, whatever. Okay.
Woo.
Next up, also The Frozen Dead. Jose?
Oh, God, this one. I saw it once many years ago. I was probably in grade school in the late 70s. The two scenes I remember are the head drilling scene and the strangling arms on the wall. Oh, my God. To an impressionable kid, those were pretty awesome. I need to find that YouTube version so I can see how much my taste has improved. You won't.
Oh, you'll still love it. You'll still love it. Thanks, Jose. Hey, we got some good feedback.
Let us know.
On this one.
Let us know, Jose.
Okay, then from Gregory Crosby on The Frozen Dead.
More Frozen Dead. I tried watching The Frozen Dead in anticipation of this episode, but after 20 minutes of exposition, that stuff shuffled along like a frozen Nazi. I shut it off. Perhaps if they started with the story with Nisa's arrival and only slowly revealed that what her uncle's up to, no, that probably wouldn't have helped. Poor Dana Andrews.
Gregory,
you
wound me deeply. You didn't watch that all the way through. All right, but appreciate it. To each his own. There are movies I would probably. That's one of the things I like about this. I probably wouldn't watch Konga if it wasn't for this. I'd go a half an hour of exposition and go, but I'm glad I watched it. Finally, on The Frozen Dead, sort of, from Philosopher Muse.
Hey guys, thought I'd drop by to wish you an amazing holiday season and a happy new year. You too. Thank you.
Yeah.
I hope you had a good one. Chad's opening speech was absolutely hell Harry arse, by the way. Keep it gruesome, Jason. I forget what I said there.
I'm thinking in The Frozen Dead, there was one of those long speeches about the safety deposit boxes. Or something.
Yes. Something like that.
Yeah. In his brain.
Yeah.
And now we're coming down to the end, guys. And this is the only half of the feedback that we have backed up here. So episode 168, The Reptile. From Alpha Zulu 10. I love it. I don't know why, but I love this movie.
Short and sweet. I like it.
You don't have to know why, and we appreciate the comment. Perfect Mask 1. Who's next there?
Me. Perfect Mask says, really enjoyed watching this movie again in preparation for the podcast. I love that people are preparing for the podcast. That is so wonderful. Great film with excellent acting and atmosphere. Michael Ripper was fantastic as always. Hope you covered the Mummy's Shroud on a future episode. Keep up the good work. Loving the show. Yes, Mummy's Shroud.
Cool.
I think I'm the only one excited to do that one.
No, I don't. I keep saying I like that one.
Okay. All right.
It's the second one that's but Mummy Shroud is cool just for Michael Ripper and the different stuff with the bandages and stuff. I don't know. Anyway. It's not. Number 2 is really nasty. Other than that, they're all decent, I think. So thank there. Perfect Mask. From Wealth Actually with Fraser Rice. Somebody with a podcast.
Okay. I'm not going to try and say that one again. Super fun Hammer entry. Saw it on the recommendation of the podcast and was pleasantly surprised, especially by the acting. Thanks. Yeah, it was
excellent. Appreciate that. Thanks for letting us know. And finally, from Jose on The Reptile.
Me. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Me.
Good film, he says. Underrated, much as its companion piece, Plague of the Zombies. Both that have a Hammer theme of sins of colonialism. Yes, they do. And need I say it? Michael Ripper! I love it. Flesh and the Fiends is a favorite. It's too bad that the elements available are in such a doopy, poor condition. The Blu-ray really does not look good.
Trying to remember if I have that or not, but I see it come up a lot. I don't know if it's on some streaming services or
I don't know.
All right. That's it for feedback. Plenty of ways to stay in touch. Thanks, everybody. Thank you so much, Jose.
Thank you. We appreciate it. We love feedback.
We do indeed.
We do.
It's like the zombies. Jeff's coughing again.
It's fun. It's fun to do the feedback and hear what everybody else is thinking. And did they know about this before? Did we help them discover it? Or, because we have everybody from like experts that know far more than we do to people just getting into the genre.
And we want it to be like everybody's sitting around a campfire or in a living room talking about movies. And that's what your feedback kind of does for me anyway. It just makes you feel like you're talking to your buddies about cool movies and stuff. So we appreciate it.
Exactly. So leave comments on the Gruesome Magazine YouTube channel, or you can send emails to feedback@gruesomemagazine.com, or you can go to the Gruesome Magazine H&R and DOH podcast Facebook group, or even on the website, gruesomemagazine.com, where each episode has a blog with links to the characters and all that stuff. So have fun there. And sometimes extra stuff. We have a 80s episode on the Gremlins coming up that will link all the a whole bunch of notes that Ralph Miller gave us on his
cool stuff too.
For special effects. You too can make a gremlin eye or a mogwai eye, whichever trips your trigger. So anyway, that's it. So that's it for this episode. But every 2 weeks, we'll be focusing on a specific film released between 1920 and 1969. Next up will be one chosen by Chad. What are we doing, Chad?
We're going to do from 1966, Billy the Kid versus Dracula.
Oh, there's a lot of that going on.
Especially this kind of pew.
Pew.
Now wait a minute. We got John Carradine.
Yes.
As
Playing
Dracula. We also have Virginia Christine. You know who that is?
Mm-mm.
That's Mrs. Olsen on the Folgers coffee commercials.
Really?
From the old days.
Okay.
We also have Bing Russell.
Oh, wow.
Kurt Russell's dad.
Oh, my goodness.
Tons of Westerns. And Harry Carey Jr.,
who
was like a Western icon. And Olive Carey, who is his mother. All play parts in this movie.
In real life, right? IRL?
Yes, in real life. It's his mother. Yes.
Dracula. Dracula's how my grandfather used to say Dracula.
Dracula. So. Okay, Billy the Kid versus Dracula. And it is available to watch damn near everywhere. Although, as I was looking through the sources, Classic Horror Movie Channel had what looked the best to me.
I did.
At least the first couple I tried on. Yeah, the first couple I tried on YouTube weren't very good, and Tubi wasn't very good, and it's like on all those places, you know.
Yeah.
So
Well, I think it's just this is a public domain class.
probably.
Yeah.
Oh, but there's also a Blu-ray from Kino Lorber.
Oh, of course, and you have that, right?
He'll have it by the time.
I will tomorrow.
Yeah, you will tomorrow. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
It's only $13. What? How could you go wrong?
Have you seen this movie?
All righty. I think that's it. Am I done?
I didn't know that Kurt Russell's dad was in it. That's gonna be fun.
Bing
Yeah.
Russell, yeah.
See if he
Yeah, I have
looks
to
like
talk about him. I did. He had a great career. He owned a minor league baseball team late in his starting in the 70s, and Kurt Russell was a professional baseball player for a season or so. So
Save it for the podcast.
Save it for the podcast. I'm sorry, I'm rambling again. So that's it for tonight. Catch us again here in 2 weeks for another great horror movie. As only decades of horror can do it. Say good night.
Good night.
Good night, Captain.
Good night, everybody.
Gruesome Magazine.